Hey, Gary Hoover here, and I want to show you my latest program. It's called City Maker. This is the profile edition, which has more features. The way it works is you build buildings onto a block. So you create and modify the block, and you can design your own buildings and everything. And then once you have a block done, you can add it to a whole city. You create a city and then you add it, and a city can hold 25 of those blocks, but the block is the key and we start there. You can set the folder for where you keep all the work, all the pictures you take, and things you generate with this program. You can also load your own images, any picture you've got, any picture off the computer or pictures you've taken, and you can put them on buildings. And often that's a separate file, so you can set the location for the images you might load. And it remembers them each time you come back. It'll remember where you were last time. You could always change them. And here it's already remembered where I was. So we go to modify block. And so here's a blank block. Now this is 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet. So each of these quarter segments here, quadrants, is 500 feet by 500 feet, 250,000 square feet total. That's about the same size as a New York City block or a Chicago City block. So there's plenty of room to build buildings. And I've got it here to where I can draw freehand. I'm going to create a new building and I can draw point-to-point lines. So freehand is you just click anywhere, click there, it calls it a building. I got to name it. I call it building 1. That's created. Okay. Um, then I could also snap to grid and draw, and I call it building 2. And then I can also, let's see, uh, um, I can draw curves, and these are 3-point curves. So you draw the first point, and then you draw a second point, kind of where you want the curve to bend out to. And you can see how it works, okay? You can see what it's going to look like. And you can build it all the way around or make it short or make it long. And I click second one, and it's there. And I can come over here. And the other thing you can always do is just double click on your last point, and it'll automatically close it and make a building for you. I guess I'm up to building number 3. And of course, you can give them much more creative names. So you can draw point-to-point curves like that, and that gets real creative. You could draw just a straight rectangle, even in free draw, And up to building 4. You could draw a circle. You can draw an ellipse. Like that. What am I up to, 6 or something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Skip 5. You could draw a star, and here, how many points, and then the concavity. So that's like the shape of the star. So, there's a little 5-point star. I'll just call it star. Okay. If I did one that was like a lot higher number on that, and draw it, you can see it's a little different shape. Call it star 2. I can draw, well, gons, which are hexagons or whatever, so say 6-sided. And just draw that in there, right? Okay. Then, once I've drawn them, I can switch here to modify buildings, and they're all listed here. And I can set, pick one, it'll highlight it. That allows me to move it. I should be able to rotate it. I should be able to change the size, change the sides. If I shift and hold the corner, it should expand it proportionally. Okay, so you can do a lot with it and modify. The other thing too is that you can put buildings on top of each other. So we'll keep it free draw. I'm going to make it a new building, draw point to point, and I'm going to draw one like inside of this. Double click, close it, and I'm just going to call that just top for now. Okay. So anyway, now what you've done is you've laid out the the floor plan, the shape, the basic shape of the buildings, and you could like resize them. You can always come back to this screen. It's called block plan. You can always come back to it. So the next thing down here in the lower right corner is always the button to go to the next stage. That's a natural stage. You can go backwards and do other stuff by using these buttons down here. And remember to save your blocks. So I'm going to save it. I'd already named it. Now what happens here is I set the heights of the buildings. Average buildings, each floor is like 10 to 20 feet, I think 10 more often. So like a 100-foot building would be like 10 floors, but it doesn't matter. It's all relative. You could set them all to 1 foot and 2 foot and it'd look pretty good, or you could set them to 300 feet and 400 feet, you know? But what this does is with the red line means it needs a height. And the first thing it asks is, where's the bottom of the building? And that should always be at 0 because that's ground level. I guess you could lift them up in the air or sink them into the ground. I haven't tried that yet. And it should default to 0. The reason it doesn't is because some of these structures, like these tops, you're going to want them to start at a higher level. So say, yeah, 0 is fine. And then it asks me what's the height. And then I punch in let's just make pretty much all these buildings 100 feet, okay? So when I click on this, 0 is fine, 100 feet. Click on this, 0 is fine, 100 feet. Click on this, 0 is fine, 100 feet, okay? And I can change them. Let's try this one, okay? And let's make it 50 feet, okay? And let's take this one and 0, fine. Let's make it 200 feet, right? And I can come back and change them later. 0, fine, back to 100. Let's make the star really tall. Let's make it 350 feet, okay? And then this one here on top, now see, it's already says, because I laid it on top. Now you can later move them over and put them on top, and then you got to set these guys right. But here it already says, well, the base of it's 100 because I put it on top of that. So that's fine. And now how much higher will it go? So if I'm going to have that tower part be, the same height as the base, now it might be shorter, it might be taller. It's all how you want to design that tower. Okay. And now they've got heights. And now I go to the 3D view. And what this shows me, and the way all these screens work as far as how you handle them, is if you right click your mouse, you can drag it around left, right, up, down, scroll it. If you left click your mouse, it rotates the 3D image. And if you use the mouse scroll wheel, it zooms in and out. So here I've got all these buildings, and what they have faces on them. And what you do is you paint the faces. So you pick a roof, okay, and you have a choice. When you do a roof, it's always going to be apply it to a single face. But like here, this is this round thing. So it has all these segments, you can see them here. And when I pick one, it'll mark it with a little yellow line. You can barely see it, but there it is. And if I want to apply an image or something, paint it to the face, I can either apply it to just that face, so just be this area here. I could wrap the building, in which case it would go all the way around on this floor. If there's more than one floor in some of these buildings, or one more set of faces that go around, it would be just this level. And I can cover the entire building. I can always make a GIF or GIF recording. You can set how many frames and all that jazz, because those can get real big if you have a big picture. So you could do a fly through, move this through while you're recording. Ground surface, it's always nice. You can pick an image. You can do anything you want. But there's some automatic ones here, built-in ones. Grass is nice. I hit that. Okay, so there we got grass as the ground. Now, there are all these options. A solid color face. So let's take this one. And if we say apply, it makes it yellow. Okay. And let's take this one. And then if we click on the little color swatch, it loads a color picker. And I can say, well, I want green on that one. And I apply it, and I got green. Now, one of the things, here's a face, apply a single face. I'm keeping it that way. So let's say I want to paint it yellow, but yellow's not there. The eyedropper. The eyedropper also shows up right here if you need it, but you can also hit this button and it'll give you an eyedropper and you can say, oh, I want to use a color I've already used. Even though it's not showing over here, I want to use yellow. Okay. And now I change to yellow and I apply that. And one of the things is when you look at this swatch, if you want to keep all the colors kind of the same tone, like all bright primary colors, as you move between different hues, if you leave that dot where it is, you're going to get that that same kind of brightness. Apply a single face. Okay. On the other hand, let's say I wanted to go and let's just do some other tops here. I wanted to use dark hues. I could go here. And by moving around on this, so like this is going to be dark blue. This is going to be pastel blue. That's white. That's black. So let's say I want to go, oh, these deep colors. So I click here and I apply it. So you get that dark blue. Now let's say we want to have that same kind of tone, that same kind of darkness. I hit this, leave that where it is, the dot, that dark thing. And then I go over here and just say a deep red, and I'm going to get, more of a maroon, right? So you can leave that little dot where it is in that color swatch thing, the color picker it's called, and say, oh, I'm going to have all this kind of tone or that kind of tone. And these adjustments do the same kind of stuff here. You can always play with that. Another thing that you can do is you can use a gradient face, and it'll remember the last gradient you had. And so that, well, let's just do one. Click a face, try a horizontal gradient, okay? Same thing, try a vertical gradient, just change the direction of it. Try a diagonal gradient, sweeps across it. Try a radial gradient, those are very nice, and it makes a circle thing. Okay, now again, if I don't like that, this guy's still selected, I can make it dark red like the other one, right? So you can always change these. So let's try going on to this building, and let's see, apply to a single face. So here, apply the solid, okay. But if I say wrap, it goes all the way around. And this thing still shows as selected. All I have to do is click outside and that'll go away. So you can see I'm painting these buildings. If you go under the ground, it looks a little weird. And let's see, next thing I've got here, come back to using images. Let me go through the rest. Architectural face. So that's a bunch of built-in. And again, there's ways you can, pick an image and use it. That's a separate box here. But so like here's all these built-in apartment windows, arched windows. The stones and stuff don't work very well. The wood siding's okay. But these ones at the top, glass curtain wall. I picked this building. I said wrap the entire building. And so apply to surface, and I've wrapped that building with this glass curtain wall. But again, you can also load your own. And these little boxes over here, you can open them and close them, so that you could, if I close all of them, I can see more of them all at one time. See, I got all my choices here. So architectural face, tiled face, that gets a little more complex. You draw your own tile and tell it how many times to repeat. And again, you can always apply to single face, wrap the building, or cover the entire building. But you get to draw your own tile. Street level architecture is a way to add stuff. So like, okay, this is an office building, right? Move it up here. That's an office building. But let's say I would like to have a hotel on the ground floor, 1 story, apply, put it here. We'll see if it works, should work. And okay, so what it's done is it failed to, or did it put all hotels? Come on, it's a little tricky. No, it put a whole bunch of retail stores, so it put the wrong one, because there is at the bottom row of stores, and see, that's what it applied. So I have to select the face again. Well, that's already there. Anyway, so I'll have it fix that by the time you play with it, because I should have those other choices. And you can always load your own image again. The building tops, they don't really work that well. Take care of that where I haven't put a top on anything. It gives me a bunch of choices, but the one that seems to work reasonably well, and you can color it, you can load an image for it, see, it gave me a pyramid top. I kind of like the little pyramids. But there are other ways by doing this stuff where you add something on top of something, you can design your own. And I'll show you in another tutorial more about how to do it. You remove the top. The other thing is all these 3D images you can export in different formats. But I've found that they say the GLP is the best one, more usable in other software. But I know in Blender, the open source 3D software, this GITF one, then you can save that. And when you do something like that, it'll save it in the folder where you're doing main work, and it says here, saved. And the other thing is when you're working on a block, always it says down here, remember to save your blocks, save it, and then you can always come back to it. And so we've got a bunch of stuff here. Let me show you a little bit about adding images. So I picked a block. I'll close that one up. I'll close that one up. And what I want is repeated image on the face. So I load an image. Now this is a folder I've set, and I filled it up with all kinds of cool images. You should have the right folder. There we go. And I have these Islamic designs. I have bricks, stone. Here, just do bricks. And what am I at? I'm on this. Let's wrap this level of the building and apply image to face. But there it goes all the way around, right? Let's see. Let's try this one. Let's cover the entire building, see if it works, because it should do away with the green top. And now the same image should be loaded there. And see, it made the whole thing bricks, including the top, right? It wrapped the entire thing with all these bricks. It showed up kind of weird on that side. Anyway, so you can do all this kind of stuff. I've got my whole tower here. And let's wrap it. Let's load some sort of interesting image for the tower. It takes it a second. It's a pretty hefty program. Oh, just use an Islamic design. And I said, wrap this level. Okay, so now my tower, the star tower, is all wrapped in Islamic design, and actually click on that and apply it up there too, and I get one nice big one. So that's pretty cool building. And then, let's see, what have I got? Let's wrap these levels, load an image, takes it a second. And I have a ton of them in here. So, okay, this is another group that I found. You can find a lot of these online. Again, Islamic stuff, carpets, but then these crazy things, and apply. Pick the face. There we go. There we go. And there's ways to repeat it, make it a pattern. You just got to play with all that stuff. What have I got left? I got some roofs. I got this big boy here. Click on that, wrap the building. Just to show you how it works, go here, load an image for face. And in one of these folders, I've got a bunch of images I created in AI. I love department stores and hotels and movie theaters. So on that face, I'm going to show it like you're walking into this big, beautiful department store. It's this apply to face only. And you see, there we have that picture loaded on. It'll resize it to fit. Now, I could have wrapped the whole building, but once I've started now, I'd rather, have each face be different. So I'll leave them blank. Let's wrap this one with something else different. And I got all kinds of crazy stuff here. Let's go back to these crazy patterns. I just have a ton of stuff. Herringbone. Why not? And there she is. And I could put pictures here. I should put a nice big picture here. Apply a single face, load image. Let's go back to one of my cool pictures in this section. So I don't know, this is upstairs. Oh, well, what the heck. Like I say, you can do anything you want. There it is. Okay, sometimes she's a little wonky. But yeah, you get an idea how it works. Move this puppy around. Save my block. And then I could load a different block, and it'll list all the blocks I've made. And so this is the one, and it shows the most recent one on top. So here I can see CityPlanner project, and it's got a name, and it's actually got the time and date buried in there. So it's 07/16/26 is the date, and 1:55, which it's 1:55 in the afternoon or whatever. So that's how it can tell what's the most recent one. But then there are other blocks I built, new block 1, profile block 2, and I could load those, and I could go looking around a file directory if it was somewhere else on the computer. Anyhow, so I've saved that. I can always come back here. I can come back to resetting the building heights, or I can go back all the way to here. And, then again, you can select a building over here. It'll highlight it. It'll switch to modify building, and then I can, move it, or let's see, shift drag it, increase the size, almost bump into that other building. How about that? Almost bump into that building. And now I'm not going to change any heights, go through that. You can see this guy is much bigger, a big brick guy. Okay, so I can save it. So you can do all these things. The other thing here, let me go through the ability to do profile view. So to do that, I come back here, and there's a thing called draw profile. So here, when I'm first creating buildings, and you can see there's a different color here because that guy's a top, but I can still play with it and move it and stuff. I could put on another building, I'd have to adjust the heights and everything, or it would get pretty weird. So draw profile is an advanced feature, and you can free draw or snap to grid. You can draw lines or draw curves. And what it is it's taking like one view of the thing. So let's do something simple. Free draw, drawing a line. So I'm making basically kind of a cone-shaped thing. So once I connect A to B, and I can't hit 2 dots over here, 2 dots over here, and I can't dot here. It's got to go from here to here. Now it can be, there's always an undo button. So it could be here. I'll show you, like a ziggurat building, whatever, boom, 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 boom. I could go on forever like that, but I'll just take it straight down from there. So it's got that kind of top. Okay. So this is like looking at building straight on from street view, but this is just one side of it. So what it does is it builds the building by rotating that design around a axis and creating a 3D building. Now, when it rotates it, it can either rotate it rectangularly, so the whole thing will be like a square when you put it all together, or circularly, so it rotates, it becomes like a cylinder. And this gets complex. You can rotate it all the way around, half the way around, so then it's a semicircular building, or a quarter of the way around. And then take some work. You can take those build four quarters that look different. So, and then you can put them together. And so you could build a building that's like has a curved on one side of it and be like straight on the other. So here, what I'm going to do is a rectangular building, and you can set the sides. So I'm just going to try this if it works. I haven't tried it in a while. I'm going to make a six-sided building. So it's going to make six segments, all based around that profile. And so if I'm ready to try it, apply profile, give it a name, leave it with profile building, and then hit where you want it to go. Okay, so there it is. It's a six-sided building. It needs a height, zero base, 150 height. And now what we've got is this building that I built. And what it does, and I could have made it circular too, been a cylinder, is it uses that profile I drew, that step, 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 straight down to make the whole building. And each step, each time it changes lines, it creates a new face. So here it's got these big, huge faces. I could have built it all the way to the ground, a little step, 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 and then they'd all be separate faces. I mean, each separate, floors basically. Um, and again, all the things that work on the other stuff. Let's do a wrap. Those are nice big faces, so let's load like a nice big image to put all the way around them. And let's see, I do love those Islamic designs. Let's see, so these are all pretty flat. Let's see, one of my AI design pictures. So, anything you can dream up as far as like pictures. Okay, big flat sides all the way around. How about making it look like this? And there you go. What a department store, huh? You can see in from every side, yeah. Rotate it around. And the pictures really, it places them really accurately. If you got a high-res picture, you can zoom in and see a lot of detail on that guy. And especially if it's kind of the right proportions to work on that. And then, I can color the roofs, they're treated as floors here. Yeah, okay. Or go all the way around and color anything I want. So let's just wrap and make that some sort of, let's do a gradient. But let's do a better, cooler one. Let's go bright red, bright blue, bright green. Oh, I don't know, bright yellow or orange. And a radial gradient. I'm here on top. Okay. Now, is that sweet or not, huh? And because it put the radial gradient on each of those faces, because this consisted of all these different faces. I could wrap the whole building. Anyway, well, I'm always making improvements in it and trying to make it work cooler. I'm going to save this block. And here, once you've designed this, I keep going back because I want to work on this block, and that's where I spend most of my time. But then if I want, I can go to City Builder here, and that goes into the city block thing, and there, each of these 25 blocks, 5 by 5. So, load a block, it knows the most recent one I've used, click where I want it to go, and there it goes. And then and if I've got old blocks that are already in this city, because if I already have a city, then hitting this will update them for any changes I've made in those blocks. But we loaded the most recent edition of this. And so once you've got these in here, one or more, the next step is city features. And city features allows me to draw all kinds of stuff. So say a road. And you can use curved or straight lines. but let's say, and all the same stuff. Well, not rotating it because this is a flat view, but moving, zooming with the mouse wheel and all that still works. So here, I'm just going to build a road from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. I don't know, to double click to end it, and it'll show road. I can build railroad tracks, streetcar, there's an alley, a river, a water area. Let's see, that's gonna work here. Okay, and closes off, and it made the outside area water, so that's like a shoreline. Anyway, and now here, save city. So this will save the city, and it'll change that city block to show the roads. What's the city name? My city's okay with me. And then again, I go here, and now it's back into 3D mode. And again, I can save it in these different formats. I can do a GIF recording. In this mode, all you're really doing is looking at it. You're not painting any faces or anything. And the thing is, in all these, you can always make a JPEG of the current view. If you like the way it's looking, it'll save that in a folder. You can fit it to the screen. If it's out of shape, you can't see where you're at. I've already saved the city in its blocks. I could load another one, but and normally once you've done that, you might go back to block builder, right? And start working on that block or create a new one. So I go back to block builder, and let's see. See, okay, I loaded the latest one. I had to do that, and that's the road I put through, and doesn't need heights. And you can see, we do it. It's now got a road there. The roads aren't very beautiful. They don't do well with curves. Some of the things look better than others, but they're there, and you can put an alley in. I will keep adding features, but the thing is, you can build your whole like dream world out of this. And let's see if I can pull up. So here, what I've got is I've pulled up a little PowerPoint I did that shows some of the other images that I've designed. So you can see the kind of stuff you can do. I started a company called Bookstop. So it shows up in here. This is a city with 2 blocks in it. There's an apartment building I built with penthouses on top. Here's a bunch of stores around the base of a building. Here's a billboard on top, and a lot of stuff about my old company, Bookstop, and the original business plan is wrapped around the star at the top. There's a bigger view of it that's supposed to be like a big stadium, the Bookstop Stadium. Oh, there's a big building with a top that's a giant pyramid. I made that pyramid real steep, the big green cone. Here's one decorated with some sort of, it's like a big barrel building. And like those are supposed to be old factories in front of it. The oldest factory is the brick one in front, and then a more modern one behind it. More crazy buildings, more Arabic carpet type patterns. The giant E building, whatever it is. You can see behind it buildings that have regular offices all over. Yeah, big one on the right there. That's all offices, and that's using one of the built-in looks for office windows. There's a plaid tower, stone monument, I guess, a brick star, some odd-shaped buildings with a lot of offices or apartments in them, crazy tops on things. It looks like Borobudur from Indonesia over there on the top left of that brick thing. There it is. The layers, all built with the profile view. Weird building. It's like a pagoda on the top. This is a view from underneath, from above. It does like underneath. You can see the gradients. They're kind of on the ceilings. And from the top, it's plain on that pagoda. That's a cool one. That's a cool one. I like that. Or I did a total building wrap with a gradient after doing a profile view. That one back left is a profile view. There's another cool one done with the profile view where I did the um, curves. Those are all profile view. And there they are laid on a nice carpet, you know? And so that pretty much is a little tour of how it all works. And it's free for now, and it seems to really work, and it's a lot of fun. It's like playing with your imagination, or if you ever had a dream city, it's kind of like, playing with a model train or something. It's your own world. It's like Lego blocks, but it's a browser-based HTML file, should work on any device. Has not been tested on tablets and phones and Apple, but it's supposed to work. It's certain. I use it on a Windows computer, and that's the end of my little tutorial.